I got involved with scouting when my boys went through the Cub Scout program. Friends and I were den leaders, and then we got involved with the Boy Scouts, and it was at that time that I saw what the Scouts taught the kids, things that they would never learn from anyone else.
I got involved in scouting in 2003 when we moved from Texas to Virginia. As kind of a way for my son to meet new friends at his new school. And as a result, we stayed involved in it and continued being involved when I moved back to Texas from Virginia.
Kids learn to be self-reliant, they learn to be leaders, they learn to plan ahead, they learn to respect the environment, things like that. Once you're exposed to that, how do you not be involved in scouting?
It's never been harder to be a kid than it is today, and there have never been more youth programs. But as you decide which one you should support, know this: one program stands above the rest when it comes to helping young people grow into healthy, productive, and civic-minded adults. That program is Scouting.
Scouting is particularly important in today's society because of many reasons, but the most important reason is if you look at all the challenges that our families face today. You look at all the young people and the peer pressure and the things they have to deal with that 30 years ago I didn't have a clue about. That today, from the cell phone to the internet to all of the things that are going on that are negatively impacting, and finding ways to use those tools in a positive way, and cutting through all the static that's out there, all the other distractions that families are facing and young people are facing. Scouting today is just as relevant as it was 100 years ago when it was started here in our country.
Why should you support Scouting? It works. For more than 100 years now, Scouting has used the outdoors to help kids build self-confidence and learn life skills they don't usually get anywhere else.
The Scouting program today still, as in the past, teaches leadership. And that's the important part of Scouting. The fact that these boys become leaders and are the future leaders in our communities.
Scouting is one of the very few programs that has goals that extend beyond several years. Think back when you were in elementary school, junior high, or even high school. When did you have a goal that would take 2 to 3 to 4 years to achieve? You show me a child that was been able to start out at tenderfoot and end up being an Eagle Scout, and I'll show you somebody that knows how to plan for the future, how to make things happen, somebody that doesn't get knocked down easily. Those are the kind of guys that I'd like to have working at our company.
Scouting has made a big difference in my life. I started at 11 years old. A friend of mine wanted to join the troop and I joined with him. I tell you, it's made all the difference in the world, not only with regards to being successful in school, but being successful in college and even in my workplace. A lot of the skills that I gained in Scouting, I'm actually able to apply. You think of teamwork, you think of integrity, honesty. All those things are important skills that one must carry to the job, all skills that are taught by the Boy Scout program.
Scouting works because kids want to be outside, having fun. But more importantly, kids need to be outside having fun.
I look forward on day to day making a difference for these young people's lives. It is so exciting to get that occasional email from a mom that tells us the experience her son just enjoyed at camp this past week. Children that had never been out fishing or camping had gone on their first trip, had stayed up all night and seen the stars that they'd never seen before. The family that taught their son how to plan a meal, and he'd never cooked one until he'd done his first camp out. It's exciting to see the growth of these children, and it's rewarding also.
Students nowadays, of course, with the technology available, are very well connected, and I know that they don't spend enough time in the outdoors, not only appreciating it, but taking care of it, and also, the physical development that comes with that. So to the extent that we can involve students in these outdoor activities, the preservation and management of wildlife, the preservation of our earth, and going green, if you will, the better off we're going to be as a society. So Scouting offers those kind of opportunities to our youth.
Scouting works because the Scout Oath teaches kids that it's not enough to just be physically strong. They need to be mentally awake and think of how to help others.
The Boy Scouts of America, particularly here in the Capital Area Council, provide a large amount of community service projects, Eagle projects, and different types of projects. And the amount of time that they give back to the community is phenomenal.
Every Eagle Scout is required to complete an Eagle project. That involves usually every member in the troop donating their time for the common good of a nonprofit agency, whether they're putting in a park at a school, whether they're improving the grounds of a church or a hospital. One of the fundamental pillars of Boy Scouts is volunteerism, and that's a direct impact on our community.
Scouting works regardless of race. We're reaching out to overcome language and cultural barriers to make sure every kid who wants to join has the opportunity.
Our Hispanic population is growing here in Central Texas and throughout the state. When you think about the scouting program, it builds character, self-reliance, trustworthiness, and really those great characteristics that we want all of our youth to have. You know, yes, our Hispanic population can take advantage of that as well.
We've started a new program called Scouting and Soccer, where we're using the soccer playing field to teach scouting values. They play soccer for an hour and then they have a scout meeting. Those are the ways we're going to make inroads into the Hispanic community in the future.
Scouting is a great program. We work a lot with the youth to teach them leadership and other important skills that they can carry on through life. And we traditionally have not reached out into the Hispanic community to get them involved in the scouting program. So with the growth of the community, we believe here at the council that it is important that we provide them the same opportunity that everyone else has to get involved in the scouting program.
You want to know your investment will be managed wisely. We don't just teach our members to be thrifty, we practice what we preach.
Well, when people donate to scouting in Central Texas, first of all, that money stays locally. Those are the dollars that we raise to support scouting here in Central Texas. It takes us on average $250 to $300 to support one scout in our program. And so that type of donation can help us buy uniforms, materials, provide training, and those sorts of things for the young people that we serve. We try to take every dollar that's donated and try to get $3 out of it.
Don't go camping, you say? Well, we have something else for you to consider.
There's an old story that goes around, and I'm sure many of you have heard it, that there's a knock at the door and it's a man asking for money. And he's the man of the house says, well, why would I want to donate to the Boy Scouts? I've got $3. And the person on the front porch says, well, sir, when you hear the knock on that door or the ring of that doorbell, you want to make sure that that man that's out there calling for the hand of your daughter is an Eagle Scout. So I think it's as relevant to, or as important to support scouting, whether you have children, whether you camp or you don't camp. You still believe in supporting your country, being good to your fellow man, learning to be self-reliant, learning to volunteer to your community. Those are things that scouting teaches.
To learn more, visit scoutingworks.org.